How much power does it take to race AMA Supercross? We're going to look at that in today's video. A little bit about the bike. This is Kyle Swanson's former Supercross bike. Unfortunately for Kyle, last year at Detroit, which just happened this past weekend, awesome race if you didn't see it, Kyle broke his tib fib and was down for the count. He ended up selling this bike to a client of ours, and the client has loved it. So, what is the bike build? Well, best I understand it, Kyle is a big proponent of twisted development, so he had Twisted handle the engine for him, and then he also had Twisted do him an ECU. So this is a Twisted Vortex, and he had it mapped for him for Supercross specifically and for VP Pro 6. So in today's video, we're going to show you exactly how much power this makes and just how much power it takes to be an AMA Supercross Pro. Kyle was right on the cusp of making main events. That's about where Kyle has been. He's getting a little bit older, so just to make every night show and to do like that is very good. So let's show you what it makes. First, stock ECU, pump gas. Then we're going to throw in VP Pro 6 and this ECU. We're going to show you what that kind of power is and how much power it takes to just put a bike into Supercross in the night show. Pro 6 poured in the bike. I've run it for about 10 minutes, got all the extra fuel that could have been in the fuel line and fuel pump out. We did our best to drain every bit of it out and ran it after I had drained it to get everything out. So this is completely Pro 6. The fuel is brand new, unopened can previously, although the fuel is not brand new from VP. It's probably 2 months old, but it is brand new in the can, never been opened before. We pulled out the stock ECU. We've got the Twisted Vortex ECU in the bike here. So that's in, and we're gonna go ahead and run it and see what results we get with Pro 6 Twisted ECU Supercross capable bike. This is everything you need to put a bike into a night show. So this bike has done it, it's proof that you can do it, and this is about what kind of power levels a lot of these privateers are gonna be out there racing with. Let's see what kind of power she makes. turn the fan off. So that is what kind of power we're making. VP Pro 6. I'm sure there's a little noise artifact or something. We'll take a look at that in another run and get that going. But let's take a quick graph. Oops. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. Graph, make graph, history log. Yeah, all right. So, let me pull up some data here for you guys. Let me go get a stock ECU, yada, yada, yada run. I think that would be this one. All right, so this is the bike, stock form, stock ECU on pump gas. Here's the bike, twisted ECU, VP Pro 6 here in light blue. And you can see we've made gains throughout the curve with the fuel in ECU combo. A peak of right here of 4056 versus a peak of typical yellow crap on my computer. I need to go change that 30. I literally can't read it. So stock ECU, stock pump gas, and we've got VP Pro 6 twisted ECU. Pretty much better everywhere. This could be an artifact of data. Probably just I'll run it 10 times and get 10 different results here. Better at bottom, all the way up. Nice result. Peak horsepower here on the twisted ECU, Vortex, and pump and VP Pro 6, 4056. And on the stock bike at that same RPM is at 3854, which is pretty close to its peak of 39. So we'll run this one more time and try to get another graph and see if this little artifact goes away. And try to see if that's going away or if it's consistent. If it's in there consistently, that could be something you did for mapping. And it's an interesting thing you could do for mapping to make it feel like, oh, maybe I need to shift. But if you don't shift, there's some power over here. So that might be something that was intentional to kind of give you an indication that, yeah, you're kind of running out. Oh, there's still some power left, you know, maybe. But we'll run it again and see what's going on there and see if that stays around or if it just was an artifact on that particular run. All right. But that's kind of what you're looking at for the amount of horsepower it takes to go out and race Supercross. So let's run it one more time and see what she does. All right. Let's see what she did this time. See if that little blip is still there. I doubt it will be. I would bet money that blip is gone. It was just a little artifact of the last run. But it could be something, you know, if you're doing that on mapping, for mapping purposes, it could be interesting. Okay, yeah, gone. So you can see you got a little bit different result. That blip is gone. And there we go. Stock pump gas, stock ECU. We've got VP Pro 6, twisted ECU. There's a torque value down here. And let's show you what the air-fuel ratios look like between those two. I don't have it, I'll get that, let me pull that. So let me get that better one there. Add test, it'll be, let's see here. All right, here we go. All right. 9. Actually, you know what? This is a good one. All right. So this is a colder pipe pull, but what I really wanted to show you here was the air-fuel ratio because we added it to that test. So this is between Pro 6 and stock ECU. So stock ECU is in light blue down here. You can see the stock ECU is a little bit leaner and then matches kind of around here, and then it's a little bit leaner all the way through, and the Vortex is a little bit richer all the way through the curve. Let's add the, I actually have a Vortex ECU pump gas, we'll show you. There we go. It's gonna probably be, here we go. Here we go. So here's the Vortex ECU in red. Okay, picked up some power versus stock ECU, a little bit. And here's the air-fuel ratio, which would be the light blue versus the dark blue. So Pro 6 versus pump gas, same ECU. And you can see that it's very similar. So changing to Pro 6 did not change the air-fuel ratio a heck of a lot, but there's some spots where it's a little bit different. However, usually your target air-fuel ratio when you run Pro 6 is often different than pump gas, and that's something you got to keep in mind. So let's just give you an example here at peak power-ish, okay, right around there. The air-fuel ratio is about 12.27 on Pro 6. It's about 12.28 on pump gas, so very similar. And on the stock ECU, I can't read it. Typically, it's in yellow. It's 12.55. So you can see that it's a little bit richer there in the twisted. How about over here? Let's give you an example on the Vortex. So 13.37 on the twisted, and then 14.46 on this particular bike. Pretty lean through that area on the stock ECU. Not quite sure why it's so lean there, but that's a little bit lean there. Pretty good on the modified ECU. That's a really nice flat air-fuel curve, doing a good job. And I'll tell you, the throttle response is nice. So let's wrap this thing up with the bow. Here's an interesting point. Here's Pro 6 now versus pump gas with the same ECU. Okay, so Pro 6 made a huge improvement. Both are on the twisted Vortex ECU. And now look at the air-fuel differences, how it's reported. Almost identical. The fuel didn't change a heck of a lot in what we got for air-fuel results. But there's an interesting twist to that if we reported this in lambda as opposed to true air-fuel reading, that's kind of what we're seeing here. If I actually corrected this chart to the stoichiometric ratio of Pro 6, then the Pro 6 would look a little bit richer on this chart. This chart is just reported in air fuel, but the reality is if we measure in lambda, we're just getting the same lambda reading. We're not really getting the true same air fuel reading, and that's a very complicated subject for down the road. So, nice gains. Look at that fuel gain. Huge gains with the fuel, and you can see the ECU here. Apples to apples, that's what the fuel did. And then, of course, the tune-up matches this fuel very well. So the air-fuel ratios and things chosen with timing and whatnot are allowing this fuel to perform well. So that's what you can get with Pro 6 and a good mapped Vortex on this bike. And yeah, let's throw a bow on this and get this video finished up. You guys thought I was going to leave you hanging in this video without throwing on a GET ECU. Well, we're going to throw on a GET ECU. This is the tune-up we ran at Loretta's for Katie Braswell. It's not tuned up for this particular package, but that's okay. See what she does. The point of this is not to compare a GET versus Vortex. Realistically, the point is to show you that it doesn't really matter. Realistically, what ECU you have, it comes down to the tune-up and you have working on it, your bike for you. Now, there are differences between the ECUs. That's why we choose GET ECU. I think they're a superior product. Doesn't really matter, though, if the tune-up's no good. It's all about the tune-up. So we put a lot of hours into this particular tune-up to get the championship this last year at Loretta's Linz and the championship the year before in Schoolboy 2. And this particular tune-up is for one of our mod packages, but it is for Pro 6 and it is for a KTM of this year model. So let's see how she does. Maybe she can run good. I'm gonna bolt this on, see what happens. Alrighty, got this ECU installed. Just gonna set this seat up on there. If I can do it, one hand, all the better. Okay, awesome. All right, let's see if she'll fire up. Not tuned for this setup, but maybe she'll fire right up. Oh, almost. Okay, there we go. Let's dial it. what we did here. That Pro 6 is stout. Let me tell you, boy. All right, got a little waviness here. Let's see. Make our graph. History log. That's a add a test here. All right. Woo! Wow. Got a nice little bit of power on that one over the previous combo. So I'm really shocked by that, guys. I've actually run this test a few times today. This is the best result we've gotten yet. So to be honest with you, this is a little bit better than I expected it to be. But our GET ECU in green, the Twisted Vortex here in yellow, both on Pro 6, same bike. This is not the map we would run for this bike. It's a little bit rich in some spots. Down here you can see ours is in the dark blue. This is for a mod motor we built, and so this is a little fat for what I like. If you look at the air-fuel ratio there, it's in the 11s. Down low, we'd like to see not that rich. And then it gets about where we want. So right here, coming up around 8,000, we're in the 13 range. We're both about the exact same, both tune-ups. You can see we're both looking for about the same things here. And then what do you know? Pretty much mirror each other all the way through the curve, all the way to the top. So we've both found basically the same air-fuel ratios seem to work pretty well. Ours is a tiny bit leaner than his up top, but we do have different ignition things. We do different phasing. So when the fuel injector is firing relative to the crank angle, that's something we change and play around a lot with. There's all sorts of features that we're trying to influence with ECUs, and I feel like we've done a good job. Now, this is a fantastic result. I didn't expect to see this much of an improvement, so I'll be perfectly clear. I think that's just a really lucky, run from us. Let's see if I can find another one. Let's go to 30. Okay, here's another run. So this is one of our previous runs that wasn't near as good all the way up. It pretty much just mimicked, right, the Vortex. We were slightly better here, same, and then slightly better here. That's kind of what I was expecting. This last run was just fantastic. The bike just was very happy for whatever reason. Very, very happy. So who knows? That was just an enigma. But realistically, you can see our tune-up between our two different poles are the same. Okay, so you can see that we're getting the same result, and that's that. Man, what a video. Let's put a bow on top of this thing. Let's close it out real quick. We had 3 ECUs. We had a Vortex Twisted ECU. We had our GET ECU. And we have the stock ECU. All testing was done on map 2, just so you guys know, because map 1 was worse. We didn't show that to you, but we have other videos on YouTube that will show that to you. So, what did you guys think? I thought it was kind of neat. I had not run this ECU on this bike before. It's not tuned for this bike. It's tuned for our race package. This is actually the map that won Loretta's this year, and won not the same map that won Schoolboy 2, but kind of a derivative of the map that won Schoolboy 2 in 2021. So I actually found it really interesting that we both ended up with dang near the same air-fuel ratio and curve to that air-fuel ratio throughout the entire curve. That means that he's been putting in a lot of hard work. Means that I've been putting in a lot of hard work to try and find and optimize the best thing everywhere. So that's awesome. It's cool that we ended up in the same spot. Just proves that with a lot of hard work, doesn't matter what tuning shop you go to, if they're competent, they know what they're doing, they can measure results, you're probably going to get really good results. So if you got a good local shop, kudos to them. They're a good local shop. Don't think that there's something special about this brand or my brand that other people can't do. So really, really cool to see that we both ended up very similar in the air-fuel curve. We were a little rich down low on our setup, and again, it wasn't for this bike. Our bike, our race motor, is a lot different in the port department, the cam department, and that changes how your fuel mapping goes. So, and we had different airbox stuff going on and different exhaust, so it just changes a little bit going on and what you need for your air fuels. But really, really happy. We ended up besting the power with the GET than we saw with this, and I did run this a lot more runs than you saw on camera. I've got about, you can see we're up to run number 34. I don't know what we'll show on camera, but probably showed 6 runs. So we did quite a few runs of recorded data, and so very happy that we were at least as good. I didn't expect not to be, but it's just proof in the pudding that really good tune-ups are going to work. Doesn't matter what color of these you go with, they're all good. but we choose these because we think they have better technology, just my personal opinion. Stock ECU, excellent ECU. It's just not tuned perfectly for Pro 6 and pump gas. There's room on the table on these older KTMs. If you want an ECU, you can get some power. These are excellent, they're just not quite as good as these. So you can do a lot more with the aftermarket. Now, what do you guys think about the horsepower that this bike makes? This bike makes about 41 horsepower is the best we got out of it. 40.5 on the Vortex, 41 was the best we saw on the GET. That's with Pro 6. Whatever engine mods are done to it, I kind of know, but I'll leave that for Jamie and them to discuss if you decided to call them up. So yeah, it's that's what it takes to make night shows, no problem, easy. And frankly, it's enough power to put it into a main event. There are people who are making main events with that level of power. Is it as much as a factory Honda? No, this bike's nowhere close. But is it as much money? No. Kyle was on a budget. I don't know exactly what he spent, but I can tell you that he didn't even go with the top level package that he could have gotten from Twisted. So he was on a budget. So there's a lot more power on the table if you spend more money, and you certainly can do that. But sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. For a guy like Kyle, this was more than enough bike to get him where he wanted to go in racing, and he loved this bike. I can tell you right now that he's just spoke very highly of it. He loved the tune-up. He loved how it ran. He loves where the power's at. He really, really liked this motorcycle. So it's just a testament of how good that really is and how good current motorcycles are. Any production bike is so fast compared to bikes 10, 15 years ago. And so it's a testament to just where the sport is at today. It's an impressive feat that you can have a bike with just a little bit of port work and some other things, and then you can have an ECU and race gas, and you can go make night shows in Supercross. Super, super cool. So leave a comment below if it surprised you, if you thought it would do more, if you thought it would do less. Thank you for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'm Derek Harris here at HP Race Development. I'll see you guys next time.